on the VinceEverettEllison show. There's been a discussion of whether or not LGBTQ can be taught to children or whether or not they're just born that way. I'm going to tell you it can be taught, and we're going to discuss it today on the VinceEverettEllison show. All right, let's get this thing started. You know, public policy in America is amazing. Some people think that the government passes laws and that's all they do. Laws pass, you're going about your business. It's not what happens. Especially when the Supreme Court is involved. Brown versus Board of Education was interesting because really before Brown versus Board of Education, race was not taught in America. You know, like we were all, most of us was born after Brown, and the vast majority of us started going to school really after Brown. And because of Brown, which was 1956, schools went, the public educational system went on a specific goal and aim to end racism. And it was good, it was right, or to teach the races to get along, you know, from children on up. Black to respect white, white to respect black, da, 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 da. And I think it's done some good. I think it's done more good with black people respecting white people respecting black people than black people respecting themselves. We may have gained some respect from the white community, but we lost our respect for our community. So it failed when it came to that. I mean, ain't that something? You get somebody else to love you, but they teach you to hate yourself. What good is that, right? She loves me, but I'm just injecting drugs and I'm stabbing myself. But here's the thing. If she hates you, but you love yourself, you win. She loves you and you hate yourself, you lose. And the Civil Rights Movement taught us to hate ourselves. And the public educational system did the same thing after Brown. Now, where am I going with this? Aberville versus Hodges was a Supreme Court case that said that men can marry men and women can marry women. After that, the federal government started codifying laws to say that you cannot discriminate based upon sexual orientation. That means that if a person walked into a job and they just happen to be, you know, flaming, you can't say, boy, I don't hire gay people, he'll get out of here. Can't do that. Now, you can not hire him, but you can't tell him it's because he's gay. And that's how stupid these laws are, man. They think that these laws change. They don't change nothing. If the guy don't want to hire you because you gay, he says he's just going to not hire you because you're just not qualified. See how that worked with y'all dumb behinds? You watching, we won. You can't discriminate against us no more because we gay. And the employee just sitting back looking at you, shaking his head. I tell you what, you come in there acting a fool and see when I found another way to get rid of you. It ain't got nothing to do with you being gay. It'll be because you just don't fit. Oh, it'll be something. And you can get mad about it. So what am I saying here? The best thing for you to do, whether you're gay, straight, black, white, Muslim, Jew, is to find out what the employer wants and conform to it. And then when you leave the office, do whatever the heck you want to do. But while you're at that job, you conform to what the employer wants. See how easy that is? The man paying or the woman paying for your time. Wear the uniform, do the job, cause him as few problems as possible, pick up your check, take your behind home, eat dinner, and have a good time. Oh, not these people. I want to be able to use the bathroom with the women, the man. You better not speak to me that way. You can't say anything. It's crazy, man. So anyway. So after Aberville versus Hodges, just like after Brown versus Board of Education, when the Supreme Court ruled on that, the public educational system said, well, now we have to start teaching children to see sexual orientation or sexual preference in the same light as they see race. Ah, you didn't know that, did you? So the very thing that you might have seen as a good thing when it came to race, when it comes to sexual orientation, LGBTQ, is against your religious values. It's not against your religious values to not be a racist, but it is against your Christian values to tell your child to fornicate. It's all right to have sex with boys. It's all right to explore your sexuality. It's all right to question how God made you. Yeah, we don't do that, y'all. We accept it and we submit to the will of God. So the public educational system now is part of the LGBTQ movement. And you're always wondering, and also the media, the mass media is also part of it because the law protects it now. And you're wondering why your children are so jacked up and crazy acting. And as I used the example last week, when God was walking through the garden looking for Adam, and Adam said, I'm hiding. And God said, why are you hiding? He said, because I'm naked. And God said, who told you you were naked? Somebody had entered into his garden and had corrupted his whole family. That was the serpent then, that's the serpent now. It's the devil then, that's the devil now. This is what they do now. They enter into the garden without the permission of the parents, and they mess up the children. Case in point. We've heard of Nickelodeon, haven't we? Yeah, Nickelodeon is special made for children. SpongeBob and all kind of stuff's on Nickelodeon. Children just get, and I think it was the #1 cable channel for a long time. Well, let me tell you something about Nickelodeon. Written in my new book, The End of Tolerance, and why we got to stop tolerating these people. I started by saying Democrats have become so evil that even famous liberals are beginning to tell them to leave the children alone. On April 20th, 2024, the liberal host of the HBO show Real Time with Bill Maher commented on the Max documentary, The Quiet on the Set, that's the name of the documentary, The Dark Side of Kids TV. This is what Bill Maher said. He said, Nickelodeon was never a studio. It was Neverland Ranch with craft services. It exposed hypocrisy. It must be pointed out that when the evil governor of Florida was saying that exact same thing about kids and creepy stuff at Disney, that liberals now find intolerable at Nickelodeon. He was dismissed as a hack and a bigot. But why would a kids content factory be any different than Nickelodeon? In 2014, CNN report discovered that at least 35 Disney employees have been arrested for sex crimes against children. Willie Sutton said he robbed banks because that's where the money is. And the reason we find pedophiles in Boy Scouts, the rectory, and kids TV is that's where the kids are. DeSantis wasn't wrong. But we are so tribal now that the left will overlook child effing if the guy from the wrong party calls it out. And get this, after Brian Peck was one of the lead creeps at Nickelodeon, served 16 months in prison for the molesting he did there, Disney hired him. Naturally, to work on a children's series. For pedophiles in Hollywood, it is a small world after all. Maybe it's time to admit that Drag Queen Story Hour is more for the queen than the kid. At some point, inclusion becomes promotion. Contrary to current progressive dogma, children aren't miniature adults wise beyond their years. They're morons. That is why endlessly talking about gender to 6-year-olds is just inappropriate. It is what the law would call entrapment, which means enticing people to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do. And if you think that some of that is not going on in schools, you are not watching enough TikTok videos. There's a certain kind of activist today who wants to take heterosexuality and lump it in with particular sexism. In with patriarchy, sexism, and racism, and tell kids, wouldn't it be cool if you weren't anything but that? It also seems to be the theme of a lot of kids' books today. I never used the phrase, the gay agenda, because I thought it was mostly nonsense. And it is mostly. But the director for Disney Animation did say, after he was hired, the showrunners were super welcoming to my or not at all secret gay agenda. And I was like, whatever I could do, basically adding queerness. No one would stop me. No one was trying to stop me. Maybe we should give the kids a break from all this culture war. So the guy is saying here that the Disney and Nickelodeon, the two kids shows, were basically just using their platforms to teach children LGBTQ. Teach it. Wow. He said the showrunners were super welcoming to my all secret gay agenda. And I was like, no one was trying to stop me. That's what the children are dealing with. And this is where parents have to start putting down their foot and telling social media and the schools that we're not going to tolerate this any longer. So a study from Stanford University shows you how damning this is, especially in the black community. It says that for black men under the age of 30, 33% say that they are heterosexual. 33%, that's all. 34% say that they are LGBTQ. That's 34% over 33%, and the rest don't know. So only 33% of young black men say that they are that they are heterosexual. Saw a study that said that if you look it up, you'll find that the birth rate of black people now is at 1.8, which means we're dying. It's at 1.6 for all of America. But I was thinking that, black folks are still having babies. We always had children. My mother had 7 children. My grandmother had 16 children. My great-grandmother had 14 children. Now we're finding that they're not having children any longer. We're dying. And as I said before, 2 things are going to do it. Abortion and LGBTQ. And they're forcing climate change, and that also, they want to make man extinct for the climate. That's what these leftists want. Many of you up there don't even know what type of game you're playing. As I said before in one of my earlier podcasts, this old white Democrat, I asked him how they get so many black people to vote for him because they were no good. He said, man, I'll give you the secret. If you don't, you promise not to hit me in the jaw. That's right. You give me the secret, I'll promise not to hit you? He said, yeah. That's all right, man. I promise not to hit you. He said, you get an N-word to drink poison if you just give it to him for free. So he was telling me that they were getting the Democrats to elect the Democratic Party just by giving them free stuff. Oh, they'll give you your children. They'll let you molest them. They'll let you, I saw this on Roots before, man. Never will forget it. I've said this before, maybe you remember it. This scene where, said this little black girl on the plantation. She's a mulatto. And it was this scene, it was at night, and the mother was walking with the daughter, and the daughter was frightened. She was shaking. And the mother was explaining to the daughter, said, well, after the night, he might give you a nice shawl, or he might give you a nice gift or something, trying to talk the daughter down. And finally, we saw what was going on. The mother was escorting her daughter to the home of the plantation owner, not the plantation owner, I'm sorry, but the cabin of the overseer to be raped. Mother knocked on the door and said, I bought it to you, master. Bought her own daughter. Turned her over to him. He ripped her clothes, and the little girl screamed, and he closed the door. And she walked off sorrowfully. This isn't new for us. I'm warning you that these people are sexualizing your children. And you say, well, you're giving me free stuff. Don't want me to take that Obama phone. You get an N-word to drink poison if you give it to them for free. Let me give you a conundrum that I want you to deal with. It's very interesting on the left right now that I hear them talk about. Especially these wishy-washy, sorry-back black men. I heard Stephen A. talking about it the other night, he always tries to play both sides of the fence because he's not man enough to stand firm. Say, I believe in the LGBTQ. If you want to go trans, you can go trans. I got nothing to say about it. But when a man wants to, when you want to start playing in women's sports, I got to say no. No, wait. Number one, if you want to go trans, use your own money. That's number one, because I got something to say about it if you want to use mine. So if you want to use government money to go trans, yeah, I got something to say about it. Use your own money, man. We need this government money to take care of children who need braces, who need glasses, who need a special education, who need something like that. Ain't no time to give no $100,000 to a grown man that just want to get his stuff cut off. That's number one. So I got something to say about it if you want to use government money. Number two, and this is when I get mad. Yeah, you can call them a trans woman, but they can't do this and they can't do that. I remember when they had the gay marriage debate, and they said, well, yeah, these men can marry men and women can marry women, but they can't do this and can't do that. I said, no, they're either married or they're not. I don't support gay marriage. I don't, because I think it's anti-Christian. But I told them that you're not going to make people second-class citizens. Either they're married or they're not. It's the same thing with this right here. So Leah Thompson, the one that was swimming against Riley Gaines, yeah, that big old dude about biggest mean swimming against women. These big men running against these small little girls. But they got a point. And they need to make the left deal with this who try to have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. I say trans means fake. So a trans woman is a fake woman. They're not a woman. They're a dude that got their junk cut off and want to be called a woman. Your DNA has not changed. So they're not a woman. You're trying to say trans women are women. Well, if they are, give them all the rights and amenities of a woman. Every last one of them. Let them play in sports. Let them go to the bathroom. Let them shower in the locker rooms. Let them sleep in girls' dormitories. All of it. Well, if not, tell the truth and say who they are. Hell, they ain't women, and you know it. You're a bunch of cowards that don't want to tell the truth because these people got so much power, like at Disney and at Nickelodeon and Hollywood. They'll cut your check. Well, they can't cut my check. You sold yourself out to these people. And now you're trying to play some type of game. Oh, these aren't women. Y'all worse than they are. What did Jesus Christ say? I'd rather be hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, I'll spew you out of my mouth. And how y'all trying to get, well, they women over here, but they ain't women over here. They men over here. See, men ain't got to worry about that, because if a woman that turned herself into a man walk into a man's bathroom, men can handle themselves. If they want to jump into the shower with the men look at them and start laughing. That'd be comical. We're going to be, get out of here. We're going to look and say, oh, man, can you believe that? Women are different. Like I say, guy big as me, doesn't have that testosterone in his body his whole life. Shoulders are broad, muscles are thicker. And they're going to walk in there with a girl, 13, 14, 15 years old, and say, hey, what's going on there? And you have fathers out there that's going to allow that, that's going to try to explain that away. Y'all make me sick. Y'all just make me sick. Allowing the public education system to teach this crap to your children. So this hasn't come about by accident, y'all. This is all planned. And it is well funded by jokers with a whole lot of money. So a lot of people think that, well, this just happened. All of a sudden, trans folks just started coming out of nowhere, and everybody started being trans, and there it was. No, y'all. In my book again, I talk about this, and it says, ask the question, what's behind this radical movement? I said, on the Tucker Carlson show, guest Chris Monitz, M-O-N-I-T-Z, I guess it's Monitz, or Monitz, discussed the money behind the demented and evil transgender movement. Monitz said, Transgender Inc., sex reassignment surgeries and hormone replacement surgeries, therapies, have a combined value of $2.9 billion. I would say $3 billion by 2030, It will, of course, it will increase to has a value of $2.9 billion. And by 2030, it will increase to $7.5 billion. The Biden administration have endorsed reconstructive surgeries for children. The number of transgender children have doubled in 5 years to 300,000. You see now? Simply put, the entire LGBTQ movement is bankrolled by the mentally disturbed liberal billionaires who seek to prove that they are not crazy, and the pharmaceutical manufacturers who discovered a cash cow when Obamacare decided to pay for all sex change operations and the lifetime supply of hormones needed to stave off detransitioning. See, that's what this is all about, y'all. It's about money. It's like the old song by Sugar Hill Gang. It's all about money and damn thing funny. Follow the money. So let's follow the money for just a little while to show you how deep this goes, how deep this rabbit hood goes, this rabbit hole goes. All right, this is a guy by the name of Pedro Gonzalez. And Pedro did some investigation on this thing and found out a whole lot of billionaires behind this LGBTQ movement, right? A whole lot of them. He discovered that the Lupron, the medicine used to castrate sex offenders, is also used as a puberty blocker. 2 injections cost $73,000. The Trevor Project, an LGBTQ plus advocacy group that has much influence in the Democratic Party, is supported by the makers of Lupron. Yeah. Gonzalez continued that the LGBTQ plus HIV lobby also heavily funds the LGBTQ movement. 42.2% of transgender people in 7 of the largest American cities, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Philadelphia, and NYC, are HIV positive. Did you hear me? 42% of transgender people living in 7 of America's largest cities are HIV positive. 62% of transgender blacks have HIV. Lord, have mercy. 62% of transgender blacks have HIV. And these people provide the medicine. So do you think that they have a reason to stop HIV or to increase HIV? That adds up to a lucrative market for Gilead Sciences and a company that developed 11 HIV medications, earning over $1.5 billion per month. I said per month, not a year. Gilead is also the #1 funder of the HIV agenda, contributing $1.6 million in 2017 and 2018. The second one is a group called the Arcus Foundation. Now, these people are funding the LGBTQ movement, okay? The Arcus Foundation, ARCUS, they gave $4.8 million to the Democrat Party. It is a driver of gender identity ideology and transgenderism across the globe. Billionaire John Stryker, Stryker, controls this company. The Tawani Foundation, TAWANI, they gave $4.6 million. They're associated with the Pritzker family. Yeah, the Pritzker family, you ever heard of them? Yeah. The son is the governor of the state of Illinois. Yeah, big fat guy, Pritzker. The Pritzker family is controlled by a transgender woman. It's a transgender woman, James. Now, Jennifer Pritzker. So Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, got a brother that turned into a woman. And now all these Pritzkers got all this money, and they're pushing the transgender ideology. They control the Hyatt Hotel fortune. They fund causes that normalize transgenderism and a broad spectrum of identities. The Gill Foundation, $3.1 million. And then the rest of the top 10, the Borales Philanthropy, $2.924 million. The MAC AIDS Fund, $1.9 million. The Tides Foundation, that's George Soros, $1,700,000. The Everett and Walter Haas Jr. Foundation, $1.3 million. The New York Women's Foundation, $1.3 million. And the VIV Healthcare, $1.2 million. Pedro Gonzalez says, it is far from a movement and comprised of a bunch of scrappy underdogs. He said, this is far from a movement. It's not a movement. Comprised of a bunch of scrappy underdogs. It's not that, he's saying. It is a well-financed, immensely powerful movement that is just totally disproportionate to the population that it represents. That's your movement, baby. Haven't you gotten yourself an education today? You just think the transgenderism that sprouted out of the ground, that all of this just happened. Y'all, it's nothing new under the sun. This is unholy. It's not right. It's not just destroying our country, it's destroying the most precious thing that we have, and that is our children. Thomas Jefferson talked about self-evident truths. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Self-evident truth is something that is how we all get along. Things that sane people don't argue about. That's the sun, that's the sun, that's the moon, that's the moon, that's a woman, that's a woman, that's a man, that's a man. But George Orwell said that the communists and the leftists were going to come and start changing the meaning of words. The meaning of words. Gay used to mean happy, now what does it mean? That means to be homosexual. Changing words. Love used to be actions and things we did with each other. Now it means having sex. Changing of words. What is a woman? I don't know. Changing of words. What is a man? I don't know. Changing of words. Before the Supreme Court just ruled, I can use the pronouns that I want to determine who I am. I'm, he, they, what, is, all of it. Crazy stuff. Y'all, they were here. And because of shows like this, and then they're still here, we got to push back on them. Check with your children tonight. Ask them about this in the best way that you can to see if there's any influence that these people are having on your children, because if you don't check it now when they're very young, when you turn around, it'll be too late. They'll start having your children taking testosterone and have your boys taking estrogen and applauding your children at school as they come out without your permission. Yeah. Little Johnny comes out as gay and they're going to applaud him at some type of gay student organization that you know nothing about. Gay student organization that you know nothing about. Yeah, they're all over the place now. And your student is going to be going there after school, and he's going to be told that everything you've told him is a lie. And he's going to be applauded. And he's going to be instructed to wear a dress, and to wear a rouge, and to wear pumps, and to not tell you. And then they're going to pass a law in the state that you don't even know about, that even if you try to discipline your child or try to maintain the standards of your family, that they'll come and take your child away and put it in foster care. And you know what you do? If you vote for a Democrat, that's what you're voting for. That's what they stand for. All I can do is ring the bell. And all I can do, y'all, is wake you up. Hope I did you some good today. So join me tomorrow for another Vince Everett Ellison show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps, you got my books, my documentaries, you got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it number one. If you got my first three, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.